I am Puerto Rican. I visited a white church one Sunday morning. One of the members ran over to me. She directed me to the soup kitchen. No greeting, no hello, no how are you. Her actions showed me that I did not belong there. I want to worship and find a community of faith. What I found were racist attitudes, words, and behavior. I never went back.
I'm African American. Several months ago, I went with a white colleague of mine to make arrangements for a church event. We met with a hotel employee. He only spoke to my colleague. He didn't even look at me, and he completely ignored me. It made me feel painfully invisible.
I am Korean. The bishop appointed me to a new church. When the district superintendent took me to meet the pastor-parish relations committee, they seemed cold towards me. They asked me to leave the room while they talked. He told me that the congregation wasn't ready for a person of color as their pastor. No one fought for me. I ended up in another church.
In 1 Samuel, God instructs the prophet not to look at outward appearances, but to see others as God sees them, with the heart. Our United Methodist Book of Discipline affirms the ultimate and temporal worth of all persons. However, the statements you just heard are the real-life experiences of our brothers and sisters of color. What is God saying to you about racism? Let's talk about race.
Nobody wants to be perceived or called racist. I don't. And so all of my life I have tried to avoid using racist slurs. And so if I didn't use any racial slurs, I wasn't racist. Or if I wasn't prejudiced, or I didn't discriminate, or if I lived in a diverse community, or I sent my children to a diverse school. The truth is that in our world we have systems and institutions that have intentionally or unintentionally been designed to perpetuate white culture. So we live in a racist world. And the more we try to avoid being perceived as racist, the more we avoid the conversation. We need to talk about race.
Over the last year, a small group of clergy in the Erie-Meadville area met once a month to discuss the book Witnessing Whiteness by Shelley Touchlock. They talked honestly about the ingrained ways they learned from culture, their families, and yes, even the church, to value being white. It was uncomfortable for them, but collectively, the group feels like they are starting to act in non-racist ways. What can you do? I'd say one place is to start to talk about race.
I joined the Warren First United Methodist Church Wrestling with Racism group because dismantling racism is very personal for me. Young African American males across the United States are being killed every day. I have 2 young grandsons who are very precious to me, and each time they walk out their front door, they're not guaranteed to return because of bias and stereotypes. Our group has focused on trying to find the common ground in dismantling racism in the United Methodist churches and in our communities. We focus on book studies, attending movies, sharing personal stories, and through deep conversations, and sometimes uncomfortable conversations, we've come to find that we have friendships, we've bonded, and we also have learned that our similarities are greater than our differences. Let's talk about race.
According to Christ and in the eyes of God, everyone is included. Colossians chapter 3 tells us words like Jewish and non-Jewish, religious and irreligious, insider and outsider, uncivilized and uncouth, slave or free mean nothing. From now on, everyone is defined by Christ and everyone is included in Christ. Unfortunately, some people are not included. They are not treated equally or fairly because of the color of their skin. As children of God and as members together of the United Methodist Church, we are called to intentionally fight for justice and equality for people of color. We are challenged to dismantle racism of all kinds. To learn more and to find ways to actively dismantle racism, visit the website seen below or contact Diane Glave at the Conference Center. Western Pennsylvania, Let's talk about race.